Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mavs Post-Game Podcast, where we bring you, a report of what happened in this game, the tank, the stuff going on. Most things Mavs, but we're probably going to get into a little bit of Bam and Adebayo stuff today. But yeah, I'm your co-host, Caden De La Garza, a journalism major at the University of Oklahoma, with aspirations to be a Maverick sports journalist. To my left is my co-host, Jude Halbert. How you doing today, Jude?
I'm doing good. Pretty eventful things happening all around the league today. Like you said, Bam. We'll talk about that later. The Mavs played a basketball game tonight. They did play a basketball game tonight.
Played a basketball game tonight. It was a little ugly. The first quarter was particularly ugly, where they allowed 40 points and only scored 26. Well, 26 is somewhere near average-ish in today's NBA. Lots of turnovers in the first quarter and just a lack of transition defense throughout the game. They had 10 going into halftime, I believe, but they ended with 14, so they kind of fixed that. But overall, Atlanta had 26 fast break points to Dallas's 7. Dallas has been really good with fast break points this season. So more so is Atlanta just showing that they could shut them down. They tried to shut Clay down in the first half. Schematically, they were, all over him. But then he went on a run in the third and fourth quarter to bring Dallas back into it. It was almost a clutch game. Was it a clutch game? I don't think it was a clutch game, right?
It was technically a clutch game, I think.
It technically was? Okay, so it's technically a clutch game. That should be Dallas's 40th clutch game of the season, if we are correct that it was a clutch game. I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting to a historical mark with the amount of clutch games they played, because it's just been so many this season.
I want to say in 2023, not 2024, 2023, since we missed the playoffs, we had like 50 clutch games or something ridiculous like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they passed that mark this season, honestly. I mean, especially during the first part of the season, there was a clutch game every game that we were going into. And Dallas couldn't win ever. But, that helped us because now we're looking toward the future with the draft pick. But yeah, in the statistical categories, guess the only 2 categories that Dallas won tonight.
Rebounds? Blocks?
Free throws and fouls.
Okay.
Free throws and fouls. So
okay.
They shot 77% from the free throw line tonight, 17 of 22 to Atlanta's 12 for 18, 66.7%. 6-7, there we go. And then 16 fouls compared to Atlanta's 18 fouls. So just utter dominance by Atlanta across the board. They won most of these categories very marginally. But with all the turnovers that Dallas racked up in that first half, it was just going to be a feat in itself to make it a clutch game, which Dallas did tonight. But let's go look over at the stack sheet for the Dallas Mavericks. Najee Marshall with 14 points, Cooper Flagg with 14 points. A very spread out stat sheet tonight, double-digit scoring-wise. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures. Only 10 players Dallas played tonight. None of the two-way guys were activated with. It does make sense because nobody's on Dallas's injury report for the first time in forever, other than our out for season players, which is Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively. I don't remember a time that was like that because we went into the season with Daniel Gafford being hurt. So this might be the first time all season, right?
Trying to find some positives in all this. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I just had a weird feeling before this game. The Mavs were gonna win. And I know that might sound like, oh wow, you expect them to win one game. I don't know. But they just started off the game with no energy. I don't know. We talked about it last episode, but just ever since Coop's come back, like his energy's just been super low. I think when he gets the ball and I want to say he's like a little hesitant. I'm not really exactly sure why. Like before pre-injury, he was downhill, downhill, downhill all the time, and get into a spot just shooting, letting it fly. And now it's like every single thing he does is like difficult, and it's like he's thinking about everything. Um, when in reality, like we just need him to just be his most aggressive, downhill self. So I think that's just, I mean, if we're just going to be honest about it, that's really what's kind of, caused the Mavs to lose games here, which is okay. It's totally okay. He'll learn. These are things, guys like him, they go through and he'll learn from it. And just an unfortunate stretch from Coop. But yeah, I don't know. The whole Jason Kidd bit about I know, better than all you guys, like in the post game, you know what I'm talking about? He was like,
Mhm.
but are we gonna still do this Cooper point guard thing? Like the numbers with him with a point guard on the floor is even with just Ryan Nembhard, it's like, it's obvious.
I think it doesn't
And
matter.
yeah, I guess
I
if
think it
this
really
could be
doesn't
like a
matter.
tanking move.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, like, is this really? Are we just going to do this? Continue this the rest of the season, like with
I,
Coop just playing the point and just ride it out? Who cares? Is that really?
I
Is
wouldn't be
that what it's going to
I wouldn't be
be?
surprised if they did that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. You're still trying to, get that ball handling gene in him to where he
Yeah.
can run everything, which let's be honest, at a 6'9" forward spot, if you can have that ability, if you can have that skill, greatness is ahead. So they're going to
Yeah.
keep trying to push it. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep trying to push it. I think that's the plan for the rest of the season. Also, it's a FU from Jason Kidd because he's probably still mad about that. And he's probably still thinking about it. But what I'm noticing from Cooper is I put out a tweet in the middle of the game, in the beginning of it. He was talking in one of the previous post-game pressers about how he's just going too fast and he's thinking too much. I completely see that. I see that 100%. There were moments where he was getting downhill too much or he was getting downhill too fast and he was just pushing it without even waiting for a big to clear. But he's putting himself in a lot of these scenarios, and it could be just, remember, he's a 19-year-old kid. He's coming off of a season where they don't play more than 40 games or however many games they play in a college season, including March Madness, which he played in. There's way more games in an NBA season than that. So there were conversations where is Cooper Flag hitting a rookie wall earlier in the season? I think this really is his rookie wall right now because he's faced adversity with being out for 3 weeks. He's coming back and his shooting splits aren't where they should be and aren't where they were for the previous amounts of the season. But what I'm looking at scoring wise for him is that midi isn't falling.
Yep.
The midi isn't falling. He's having trouble getting downhill and staying balanced and finishing through that contact.
Mm-hmm.
And he might, it looks like he is baiting for a little bit of fouls at this point, which, that's a good thing you want to see out of somebody where it's the IQ is high, but, he's not getting those calls. He's a rookie, remember. So once he starts hitting down those mid-range shots at the elbow, because I really haven't seen any, I can't remember a time in the past few games where I've seen more than 2 fall down or, I haven't seen more than
Yeah.
2 of those mid-range shots fall down in the past 3 games that he's played, 4 games that he's played, however many. So it's just a struggle for him that he has to get through. And I have no doubt that he's going to be able to get through it. He's had multiple times this season where he's prevailed over adversity, especially in that moment, that 2-game stretch where they're like, oh, is this Cooper Flag's rookie wall? And then he comes out and he has back-to-back historic performances. So there's not really much to be worried about Cooper Flag. The kind of
No.
Right now, honestly, too, there's not too much to be worried about Daniel Gafford, which we should probably talk about because he's had a really good 2-game stretch coming off back-to-back double-doubles tonight, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 offensive boards, which is what you want to see out of Daniel Gafford. An assist, a steal. He was 65% true shooting percentage tonight. Hit 6 of his 9 field goal attempts, 2 of his 4 free throw attempts, and he looks springy again. Like, he looks springy comparative to what he was earlier in the season in the past month. But he's catching lobs from Brandon Williams and some other guys right now. So seeing him improve, seeing him play better when, the understanding of what Daniel Gafford's probably going to end up being for the Dallas Mavericks is a trade asset in this offseason. But who knows if he can keep this up going into next season, Dallas might explore some other options. But what do you think about Daniel Gafford's kind of resurgence in these past few games that he's had?
Yeah, you're right. I think Gafford, I think he's kind of a momentum player. And what I mean by that is like, if he can get an opportunity to get whether it's a poster dunk or, monster block early in the game, I feel like he kind of feeds off that. But if he like doesn't really get a lot of touches, and this is nothing against, this is just kind of what I've noticed is him as a Maverick. If he starts a game and he's, feeling, you can just kind of tell with him. Like you said, the last couple games, Devin Harris said on the broadcast for the game, like he looks way more springy than he did, and it's just really unfortunate that literally 10 minutes into the season, I mean, literally 10 minutes into training camp, a guy like that,
his
you
injury that
can be
derails this
completely
entire
thrown
season,
off.
basically.
Yeah, an ankle sprain can really throw off everything just because he's such a, big like physical like force. It's just really unfortunate. And like you said, it I hate looking at it this way. Like, yeah, like he's playing good. He might be a trade asset. Like, I think he could be on this team next year. But just with the salary situation with our big man rotation, I don't think it's best. But honestly, like for him, just continue to play well down the stretch, and other teams will have a ton of interest in him this offseason. Because a lot of teams need bigs. We're finding that out in the NBA now.
Yeah.
Teams are getting bigger, and you need like size if you want to win in the playoffs specifically. So teams, I mean, if we could, somehow, I know we don't make trades to Lakers anymore, but they need a big, and if we could somehow scam them and take something, from them, that'd be nice. But yeah,
based on this game, we should have got Gabe Vincent.
Yeah. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker was cooking. It was just one of those games where it's just, I mean, and Cooper struggling. It was a brutal watch. I mean, just to, be honest about it, PJ struggled. Max had an open corner three and he airballed. I was like, what? And
corner
the next
crispy.
play, yes, and he got the ball down low. Coop gave it to him, and he was being guarded by a big man. He threw it out and just threw it straight to the defender. I was just been a brutal stretch for Max. We talked about it for just not, things you'd like to see from a player that we know he can be. And he's still a young player and should be improving. Just unfortunate, along with PJ, just unfortunate stretches for these guys, man.
Definitely. It's not something you want to see out of a player personally, but in this time right now, it's something you're okay dealing with, just because of the circumstances of the Dallas Mavericks and that they are in the tank race. Speaking of the tank race, let's do our basically it's every pod now that we're going to be looking at this lottery.
And the Pelicans are now tied because they have the same amount of wins as us. So
they do.
Go Pelicans.
So right now we're just going to state the top 10. We won't go into like 11 through 14 because those are probably going to change a lot throughout these next few weeks. So we have 1, Sacramento at 1, Indiana at 2, Washington at third best odds, followed by Brooklyn and Utah. New Orleans pick to Atlanta is 6th. Dallas is 7th. But they are tied in the wins category, but in the loss category, Dallas is one behind. Chicago at 9, followed by Milwaukee, Portland, Charlotte, Golden State, and then Atlanta's pick going to San Antonio. That tops out the lottery. But really, we are focusing merely on 1 through 10 because 11 starts with, they have 3-game cushion on Milwaukee. And Portland, they could try to win games if they wanted to and sneak into that spot. But let's do a sim.
Oh, man.
Washington gets number 1.
Okay.
Followed by
after tonight, they should be banned from having their picks. That was a disgusting basketball game. All right, I'm sorry. Keep going.
It was. We'll get into more disgusting aspects of that game. I have something I would like to talk about. New Orleans picked 2 Atlanta, then Sacramento at 3, Brooklyn at 4, Indiana, but their pick goes to the Clippers at 5. Wow. Imagine the Clippers getting the 5th pick.
What a trade for them, huh?
Really. Utah at 6th, Dallas at 7th. So, I mean, it feels like almost every single time we send this lottery, it's just, Darius A.
They say the same.
Yeah.
All we need is that one on Mother's Day. That's all we need, May 10th.
And then we have, what was it? Dallas. So we got Memphis at 8, Chicago at 9, Milwaukee. And then basically, all the good guys are out. So, disappointing one. I just did another one, and it's even worse. So we won't even talk about that one. But yeah, good for the draft. Good for the lottery to get these losses in us. Not too much Mavericks basketball stuff going on too much. Everybody's healthy. That's good. Positive. The two-way guys, they weren't activated tonight, so we didn't get to see any of them. Ryan Nembhard. I want to see how Ryan actually did statistically wise.
He didn't get much action.
He didn't get much action. I heard that he got in the game earlier than usual.
He did, but
it wasn't.
Yeah, wasn't really he got in for 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay. So, yeah. Ryan Nembhard got in 9 minutes, didn't record a single stat other than 3 assists, 2 turnovers.
+5.
+5.
Brandon, probably not a good. Quick shout, Brandon Williams. Great. He had a good game. Every time feels like there's been so many games this season where he comes in off the bench and he's just the instant spark.
He's playing so good this year, dude. It just really makes you think what the future for Nembhard is.
Yeah, I know. Every game I rethink it, and I feel like I'm too hard on Brandon Williams because he doesn't shoot threes. But then I'm like, this guy's a really good basketball player. If you can play him in spurts, he is good. And teams still struggle to figure out how to stop him. I mean, really, it takes them a few times, them driving on him to stop him. But yeah, shout out Brandon Williams, man.
Oh yeah, Brandon Williams, he's been playing good. He's been doing good. I love me some Brandon Williams, to be honest. But I want to talk about this, okay? Tonight marks a historic event in the NBA's history. It's been 20 years since Kobe Bryant dropped 81 points against the Toronto Raptors off of, what was it? I think I looked at it. It was 60% from the field, 54% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. He had a 60, 54, 90 split in that 81-point game. Tonight, against the Washington Wizards, Bam Adebayo dropped 83 points. Oh my gosh. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody broke Kobe Bean Bryant's scoring record and passes him as the second highest scoring game in NBA history. But Bam Adebayo scored 83 points off of 20 for 43 shooting, 7 for 22 from the field, from the 3, and he shot 43 free throws. I think, granted, scoring 81 points in a basketball game is a feat in itself. Scoring 83 points in a basketball game is a feat in itself. I acknowledge the fact that if I were to jump on a basketball court, I would struggle scoring 3 points. Okay. I know that is a fact. I'm not staining Bam Adebayo's legacy. I'm not hating on him for reasons untold. But I believe in a statistical mindset, looking at the game as it was against the Washington Wizards, who clearly are just tanking and trying to get a good first-round pick. This game is going to be looked at in years as a stain on NBA history. An inefficient, a monsterly inefficient game that it's just like when you look at the stats, it's an average game shooting wise. It was an average shooting game. It was actually a below average shooting game for Bam Adebayo this season. Almost every single statistical mark was below his season average, except his free throw percentage, which is at 77% for the season. He shot 83% tonight. But yeah. And then I think you're going to get into talking about this part. And then we look at Luka Doncic's 73-point game against the Atlanta Hawks. And that was looked at as just a stain on NBA history that doesn't get talked about enough. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Jude. But this game, once again, an amazing feat. There's only been 3 players to ever score more than 80 points in an NBA basketball game. But one of them was legitimately a below average game.
Yeah, it's if anyone actually tuned into this game, I don't know how many people actually did. The last 5 minutes, that was not basketball. What was being played. And again, it's similar to what you said. It's not anything against Bam. It's just for us NBA fans, like we're true diehard NBA fans. This honestly, this is not okay. Saying it's a bad day, that's wrong. It's just not.
Yeah.
But this is just more fuel to the fire for people that say like this is exactly what like all those people that are mad about Lucas scoring 73, they should be more mad about this. The 73-point game, if you watch that game, that was legitimately one of the best basketball games I've ever seen a player play in my entire life. He missed 8 shots. He was 25 for 33 and only shot 16 free throws. He didn't shoot 40 free throws like Bam tonight. He literally had 4 turnovers. It was one of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my entire life. And the discourse around that was brutal, and it already is about this Bam game. So, we don't have to argue about that. People are already really frustrated, which deservedly so. I mean, literally with 5 minutes left, the Wizards were triple teaming him, and the Heat would just throw him the ball, and he would just chunk threes. I mean, it was like not even a basketball game. It was literally just how many points can we get Bam? It was I don't even really words can't even describe like if you watch this game. It was not even a basketball game. And again, for us like true NBA fans, it sucks because this is for all the people that say nobody plays defense in the NBA, no one tries, everyone's soft. This is like this game is they're going to be saying this like the point to this game as to why the NBA is not a very good league because they'll sit there and say, "Oh, how does he get to 83 points? They were, it wasn't real basketball. They were just playing a sorry team and nobody's playing defense." And again, shout out to Bam. It's an incredible feat. He scored 83 points. It's just frustrating for us basketball fans because
we're going to have to
we
defend
know the
this
NBA
game
does
against
not
everybody
play like
else.
this.
Yeah.
The NBA is not like this on a regular basis. Like teams legitimately care. And it is March. There's so many tanking teams. This is every year. Teams are tanking and there's a lot of disgusting basketball, for just being honest, in this month. But it was just super unfortunate how it all went down. And I hate to be that way in a moment like this that should be celebrated. You know what I mean? I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all.
When I'm saying that?
You're not wrong at all. I've already had multiple text exchanges with multiple people in multiple group chats where it's just like, statistically, it's an average game. Statistically, I look at that game and it's statistically an average game. And in the sense of Bam Adebayo's season so far, it's statistically a below average game. And then
percentage-wise, yes.
Percentage-wise, yes. And that's how I base almost everything scoring-wise. Because remember, this is a scoring feat. It's a scoring feat. It's a basketball feat, but it's a scoring feat. And I judge players off of what they do as a basketball player, not the scorer that they are. And that's kind of the pet peeve that I have with a lot of NBA fans or basketball fans in general, where they judge players off their ability to score the basketball. It's not basketball completely in itself. But in general, I've just had a hard time just accepting the fact that, this was Kobe's record and it was broken. But in the fact, in the way that it was broken, just kind of like gets me going a little bit. And it's been rough for me trying to say that in group chats with a lot of people, because a lot of them didn't watch the ending of this game, and they won't ever, see how it was, and they'll look at the highlights and see all the made shots, but they'll never go back and they won't be able to see the missed ones. So, again, 83 points. Ridiculous. That's crazy. It is in the NBA history books. But with Bam's name being next to Wilt Chamberlain and Kobe Bryant, there are some things that need to be said in that. And there are, you're looked at in a tighter lens, and you will be critiqued in some ways. And Luka Doncic was heavily critiqued. Stephen A. Smith was just like going in on him. I'm like, dude, the guy scored 73 points. Like, what are we doing? And he scored it. Once again, you said the numbers at a ridiculously efficient rate. And that's what the NBA is now. The NBA is all about efficiency. Why is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the best player in the league? Because he is the most efficient scorer, and his scoring and his everything else that he does directly correlates to winning basketball. All the advanced statistics, all the numbers, all that. That's how we judge players in today's NBA. That's how players are discussed in today's NBA. That's how awards are given. That's how praise is received by these NBA players, because it's about efficiency, percentages, your ability to make more baskets than you miss. That's not what we saw tonight. We saw the final 5 minutes of shot chucking and, a truly unethical way of scoring 83 points. And played 42 minutes in a game where the differential was 21. And that in itself.
Dog tired the last 5 minutes too. He could like not even
Jimmy
hardly
Butler.
record. Yeah.
And then also at that point, you're like, are you just going to keep this guy out there to imagine he gets injured in this game?
Yeah.
Imagine he got injured at the end of the game with 42 minutes because he's
tired. Is it a hot take to say if I think there was like 9 or 10 minutes left in the game, they're winning by like 30 when he was at like 70? If they would just pulled him out at 70, I would have been like, okay, like
what a game. What a game.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But just the way they went about the last, and because like personally, I think it was cool. Like the Heat players were like, super pumping him up and like trying to get him the points. Like that part is cool. But at the same time, it was just super unethical. And even the Wizards, like it was genuinely hilarious to watch. The Wizards started to intentionally foul other players to try to not get Bam. I mean,
that in itself is unethical too. And it brings me back to a few days after, or it was the night. Was it the night or was it a few days after? Because I remember it was Lucas scored 73.
Oh,
and then Embiid. It was either Embiid. Was it Embiid that scored 70 that night too?
70.
And then like
the next nighter, yeah.
But like 2 days later, Cat scored like 68 or something like that. And they lost. And dude, Chris Finch was furious after the game.
Oh, yes. They were force feeding him the ball
Furious.
instead of trying to win.
Force feeding him the ball instead of trying to win. And they lost. They ultimately lost the game. But yeah, that this game reminds me of that, where it's just I'm of course y'all know that I'm a journalism major over here at OU, and I take a class called Journalism Ethics. And I learn about ethics and like the stuff like that in journalism at least, but I'd say I'm a little bit qualified to talk about the ethics of things or ethics of basketball in a theoretical standpoint, because I've learned the theories of ethics. You just don't do that. In the words of deontology, you have a job. Your job as an NBA basketball player is ultimately to preserve the beauty of the game of basketball. That's your job. That's the one true law, is to preserve the beauty of the game. And I'd say it's unethical to veer away from that. And by force feeding somebody or fouling to not have somebody score this, or keeping somebody in for 42 minutes when the game is 21 minutes separated, that's unethical. And it's sadly, it's an 82-point game, but it's going to be looked at as a stain on NBA history. Not in a bad way where it's just like, oh, baby Adebayo, the way it happened.
Yeah,
but
no
just
one's
like
on Bam for this. It's not
nobody.
like Bam specific. It's just the way they went about it, man.
It's just the way it happened. And that's sad. It's just sad how that happened. But yeah, I mean, that's what we think about Bam's scoring game. It's kind of, and there's so much more we can get into, like about off-court stuff. Like there's so much off-court stuff going around right now. I haven't read the story yet. I haven't read. Have you read it? Have you read the Luka story?
Yeah,
I haven't read it yet. So I wouldn't want to get into that right now. And honestly, on this channel and on this on the pod, that's not really something I want to get into.
Yeah. Prayers up to Luka, man.
Prayers up to Luka and all that stuff going on. I'm going to read it after I get done with this and post this out for y'all. But other than that, there's not really too much going on in the Mavericks realm right now, other than losing and, highlighting some cool performances like Daniel Gafford or Brandon Williams' ability to, be that guy for us, or Klay Thompson proving that he's still got it. And Cooper's, scoring struggles right now that are going that way. But y'all know my opinion on scoring. So, in that sense, Cooper's not playing too bad. But he's still shooting a little bit less than he should be shooting. But other than that, this has been the Mostly Mavs Post-Game Show from your co-host, Caden De La Garza, and your other co-host, Jude Knows Ball, on Twitter. Go follow him. Go give him a follow. Give me a follow too. Come on, give the Mostly Mavs. Let's get
some likes on here, man. Get some likes on these videos.
Get some comments.
It's late enough. It's late enough in the show. We can be honest.
Come on. Let's go. Lock in, guys. But yeah, thanks for watching. Expect more pods. Expect some more content stuff. Still working on video ideas to get out to y'all. We're still trying to plan ahead and see what the outlook looks to be, because Dallas is not going to be in the playoffs. So we're trying to figure out stuff to do with that, because that's it's coming. So
yeah.
Other than that, thanks for watching. Tune in to the post-game pods, the weekly recap, and then go, give us some scrolls on X, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you want to do that. YouTube Shorts. We got some YouTube Shorts too that are pretty funny. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. You got to touch it, man. Grab it.
At 40 points.
Feel it. AJ DeBonce had 40 points.
Go watch his highlights, guys. You're going to bed.